Convening of the 17th Parliament of the Independent State of Samoa. I, TUIMALEALI'IFANO Valetoa SUALAUVI II, Head of State of the Independent State of Samoa, pursuant to Article 52 of the Constitution of Samoa, appoint Monday, the 2nd of August 2021 at 9:30 a.m. as the date for the official opening of the 17th Parliament of the Independent State of Samoa at the Mautafono at Molino. That I make this proclamation for the convening of Parliament at the date I have so appointed, to permit the following matters to be resolved and hopefully concluded properly. I make the following observations. 1. Uncertainty as to composition of the Legislative Assembly. That at present there is no certainty as to the correct number and/or composition of the members of the Legislative Assembly that should and ought to attend at the convening of the 17th Parliament, given the definition of the Legislative Assembly in Article 111 that requires the Legislative Assembly to be constituted in accordance with Article 44 of the Constitution of Samoa. Of the 51 elected members, 5 are women, which is less than 10% minimum requirement of the Constitution. The constitutionally guaranteed seat of the additional woman member of Parliament in accordance with Article 44, brackets 1a of the Constitution of Samoa has not been activated yet, although the Court of Appeal has confirmed that a 6-woman member of Parliament is mandatory. That means that the number of properly constituted Legislative Assembly at present is 52 and not 51. That the convening of the Legislative Assembly without the 6-woman member breaches the Constitution and the constitutional rights of the additional woman member. The Court of Appeal held, we hold that the determination under Article 44, brackets 1a, must be made on the basis of the general election results as finally determined after the results of any electoral petitions under the Electoral Act 2019 and by-elections pursuant to the terms of that Act. At present, 1 elected woman has resigned her seat and 2 are facing electoral petitions. That means all 3 women could be replaced by women through by-elections, bringing the number of the Legislative Assembly to 52 through the activation of Article 44, brackets 1a. If that is not the case, then there are various possibilities as to the membership of the Legislative Assembly in order to meet the prescribed 10% minimum of women in Parliament. 2, no clear majority of the Parliament. That due to the uncertainty as to when the outcome of the petitions and possible by-elections and consequential proceedings will be concluded, there is presently no clear majority as to the number of seats of Parliament. Therefore, neither of the political parties can claim to have a majority. It follows that the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker cannot be nominated or elected, and there is no one person who commands the confidence of the majority of the House to be appointed as the Prime Minister. There is uncertainty insofar as the number of the Legislative Assembly is concerned. Therefore, Parliament cannot be properly convened at the present time. 3, no Parliament, no Speaker, no vacation, no by-election. As a further consequence of the determination by the Court to activate Article 44, brackets 1a, after all petitions and by-elections, the declaration of the vacation of the seats of members of Parliament who are successfully challenged is frustrated. Such a declaration is a prerequisite to trigger the by-elections process. 4. Frustration of the 45 days requirement. The effect of the Court of Appeal's decision is the frustration of Article 52, which requires the Legislative Assembly to meet no later than 45 days after the holding of a general election. Therefore, if the above matters have not been resolved by the appointed date, I will consider other options available to me. I further state that the Supreme Court has no jurisdiction to order the convening of Parliament, as I, the head of state of the independent state of Samoa, have the powers to appoint a time and place for the meeting of the Legislative Assembly. I also add that the Court, through their decision of Monday, 28th of June, 2021, have shown flagrant disregard and disrespect of the powers of the position of the head of state. By ordering that the Parliament be convened within 7 days of its decision, the Court has usurped the powers of the head of state, as only I have the legal powers and constitutional authority under Article 52 of the Constitution to appoint a time and place for the meeting of the Legislative Assembly. By ordering that failure to comply with its decision would be tantamount to contempt of court, the Parliament and the head of state, I read it as a direct threat to legal authority, powers, and integrity of both the office of the head of state and that of the Parliament of the independent state of Samoa. I pray that such usurping of the said powers of the position of the head of state shall not happen again. Finally, through this proclamation, I revoke and replace my proclamation of 20th of May 2021 that called for the meeting of the 17th Parliament for Monday, 24th of May 2021. That proclamation has lapsed and is of no effect at all. Given out of my hand at Wailele on this 4th day of July 2021, TUIMALEALI'IFANO, SUALAUVI II, Head of State.